All right, I'm going live.
Right now. Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I still got to get my cameras and stuff going, but other than that, we should be good. All right. Yeah, I still got to get my cameras. Okay. Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. You can turn the sound down on that one. I think we're here. I think.
But you're not on Zoom there right now.
No, I don't have the Zoom going there yet, but we're going. So I'm. Boy, this streaming stuff really gets to me. I don't know about you. I still have to do another thing to bring in our guests, but we'll get started here in just a minute. I really do apologize for the issues that we had. We'll figure it out. Stuff really gets to me. Okay. All right. Let me find Chris and Cherie over here, and we will get going.
Yeah, I know you do.
All right.
But there's still nothing quite like live. It's... Yeah.
You can talk. I mean, we're alive. We're going on.
Okay.
Chris,
well,
talk to people.
I could do my tip while you're bringing them in.
You can.
Okay, and Michael, thank you so much. We're going to hang up.
We love you. Feel better.
Really?
Oh, boy.
All right. Hi. Hi, everybody. And Jim's still working on getting this meeting complete, but... So welcome to What Does This Button Do, episode number 193. We do have special guests with us today, and they're going to be talking about mobile internet. But I just have to give you a Google Photos tip first, because there's a whole redesign of Google Photos that just came out yesterday, and there's one really cool new tip. New feature for mapping of your photos. But now I need to see this.
Need to see what?
This.
Ah.
So one more piece to the show that Jim has to do in order for me to show this to you. It's been a requested feature for quite a while. That's a way to put all your pictures on a map. And they've done it really well, I think, in this new redesigned Google Photos. Yay, there they are. And next week. Is that me?
Don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's me. Next week, we will be doing a show on the redesigned Google Photos. So no questions this week, but I got to show you this one thing.
All right.
Because so many people had asked for it. And so this is the new Google Photos icon. Notice it no longer looks quite like a pinwheel. It's somewhere in between a flower and a pinwheel. And if you go into the search, then right there is a map. And you tap Explore Map, And the cool thing about it, I mean, I know that the Apple Photos has had this for a long time, but the thing that they did a little bit different is they made it 2 panels. So your pictures are showing up down at the bottom, and the map is up at the top. And you can zoom out, and I think this is just such a cool way to brag because every place where this heat map is showing is someplace where we have photos. So it tells me that I have 43,706 photos taken in North America. And as you zoom in, you will get to the point where you see individual photos. So we just went down to Tavernier this weekend, and here are the photos. We went kayaking right over here. Nope, it was up further where we went kayaking. Okay, so just pretty cool. And those little black dots mean that those were photos taken in that area in that same time frame. Then you can still see other little purple dots that are photos taken in this area at a different date. And you can see all over the world. Just pinch and I can go over and see that in Australia, New Zealand, we have 1,880 photos. So that's the thing that I just felt like I had to show. And then we can get on to our main show today.
I still need to get our slideshow going.
Okay.
But I can do that pretty quickly, I think.
So welcome to, let's see, we had a lot of people waiting. Did you all stay? Yeah, it looks like it. It says we have 114 people, 114 patient people. Very good.
All right.
And Michael Daniel said he just got the new Google Avatar. Yeah, I still haven't gotten it, the new Google Photos app on my Android phone yet. It came to me first on my iPhone. Figure that one out. And, oh, it looks like the spinner on our hat. Yeah, kind of. And we see and hear you very good. How did you get that huge aquarium into your road trek? Yeah, we're home.
Again.
We're home again, yes. But we did have a couple days in the Keys, and that was really nice. And okay, he's almost there. Let's see if there's anybody thought I was doing something wrong. Oh no. You can bet with live shows there's going to be something going wrong that's not your fault. Of course, we say it's not our fault either. It had to be either YouTube or OBS or Zoom or some combination. Mm-hmm. So we are Geeks On Tour. And he's the geek that goes through all the pain to make these live shows happen.
And this is episode number 193 of our What Does This Button Do show. It's an educational show about smartphones and technology with us Geeks on Tour. Yeah, today's lesson is going to be Mobile Internet Update with our friends Chris and Cherie from Mobile Internet Resource Center and mobileinternetinfo.com. But Chris has already done her quick tip.
I did.
Thank you for doing that quick.
So you can just pass right over that. But people just know we will be doing this on next week's show. It'll be all about Google Photos.
Okay. Well, do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And you have questions about your iPhone or your iPad or your Android phones, and how do you learn about these amazing devices?
We are geeks, also known as propeller heads, geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we do this show. We pick a topic each week, and people who follow along just keep learning more and more. We keep learning more and more and more.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
All of our content is collected on our website at geeksontour.com.
Okay, Chris, where are we now?
We are back home, but we got out.
We actually left the house in our van camper and we took a trip down to the Keys. It was great.
Yes.
And we did a little paddling with our dive club. It was very nice to see them.
Very nice.
It was an interesting time, though. I want to remind our members that we have a backstage pass for our premium members. It'll be a Zoom meeting. That seems to be working pretty well after this show. It wasn't working so well to begin with. And there's a link in an email that Chris sent out earlier, or you can find it at geeksontour.com and look for the member login. You'll find it there. Right?
Yeah, I'm noticing. Do you want me to leave the Zoom meeting there?
Yeah, you can leave it there, I guess. It doesn't matter, but that's fine.
Okay.
So, stay connected from your RV or boat.
So these guys are the experts, and we are so happy that they've agreed to join us. Their website is, you might want to write this down, it's also in the description of this YouTube video, mobileinternetinfo.com, for anything you want to know about staying connected on the road or on the water. They also have a YouTube channel, they wrote a book, they have a private Facebook group, and if you want to know even more, they have a premium membership for even more. But they share all of this information. They now also have interactive online classes, their university. Next slide. So meet Chris and Cherie. We met them long time. We met them for real back in 2013, somewhere in South Dakota this was. And we've kept up with them ever since. And so let's bring them on. And if you could say hi, and I know you do this over and over and over, but give a couple minute just introduction as to how you got into this and what is it that people can learn from you.
Okay. Are we in? Are we live?
You're live.
Yay.
First of all, thank you guys for enduring. We know how annoying tech can be. Even for us tech experts, it never fails. These live things, something always goes wrong.
Something changes in the background, but by the time you're up to episode 275, you'll have it down and smooth.
Yeah, right.
You're still beginners.
And they'll change something when they do that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Weren't we just talking about this before? Anyway, I'm Cherie.
I'm Chris.
And we hit the road. Well, Chris hit the road full time in a super small RV in 2006 after leaving behind his Silicon Valley career in mobile technology.
Yeah, I set off in a tiny little tab clamshell. It did not have a bathroom. It did not have air conditioning, did not have a refrigerator, but it had solar power and mobile internet. And the last thing I expected in my first year on the road is to find somebody who's crazy enough to want to move in with me. But then I met her.
Yeah, I'm the crazy one. I joined them, and at the time I was a software developer, and as long as I had a mobile internet connection, I could work from anywhere. And I was already doing a lot of personal travels and working remotely. I was work from home already, and I was already doing personal travels, tethering off my smartphone, even way back as early as 2000, and working remotely from personal travel adventures. And that's kind of what led to us meeting. So we also happened to be bloggers at the time. So that's kind of how we met, is on a blog. And we just continued sharing about our travels and adventures, now hitting the road and working remotely. And we got so many questions over the years about how we kept connected.
How are you working online and doing all this stuff?
And then we met Chris and Jim in 2013, and they were telling us about their Geeks on Tour thing and their adventure. And they're ironically one of the few other bloggers from when we hit the road that were already blogging and sharing about their adventures. So it was really cool to finally meet up with them. But when they shared with us about their membership program that they had with Geeks on Tour, like, we're really inspired by that, is giving a lot of useful educational content out for free to the community, be very community and giving. And that's what we were already doing. It's about how do we make this into something that we can do as a career, So we were inspired by their membership program that they were doing, and used that model in many ways to develop our mobile internet aficionados program.
Okay.
So we were inspired by them, and
we were also anti-inspired. Like, we saw their carnival life of going from event to event to event. We're like, we want to do this online, and we do not want to do what they're doing in person. So
we're very, very introverted, and they're
such natural in-person teachers.
So we can do it for a little bit, but so we limit the number of in-person things we do. We do a lot online, and have found our balance of offering a premium membership program and doing a lot of
interactive online stuff.
And we love giving away information and helping people achieve their dreams of mobility and keep connected.
Yeah, when geeks get together, it's fun. I remember the first time we got together, there was drones and routers and this was
wine.
Yes, there was wine.
A real geek fest. But we also have to say that we were so glad to see them come on the scene in the RVers, because how to stay connected just kept getting more and more and more complicated, so that it takes over a whole technology training business, and we did not want to do that. So we have forgotten.
We definitely didn't want to feel like we were stepping on anyone's toes. So when you guys said, please do this, we're like,
please,
sure?
Please. So do we need to? We build this as an update, and I certainly want you to give an update, but should we start with just a 2-minute, what are your choices for staying connected?
Sure.
Oh, wait, but you have to say where you are now. You're not in an RV right now.
Oh,
I mean, technically it is a vehicle, but we split our time now. You saw the vintage bus conversion that we have.
It's behind Jim's
that's
head
behind the head. That is one of our RVs. We got that in 2011, and in 2017 we also got a boat. So we're currently on our boat in Sanford, Florida. We are sheltering in place here, kind of inland, for both the pandemic and for hurricane season. Apparently they're not rescheduling that this year for the pandemic, so we have to put up with that. It's a fairly safe location to be. And then we also have a van conversion that we use for getting out, and we use that to get between our bus and our boat and do side camping trips.
So we have a fleet now.
So on the water, well, let's back up. I remember teaching there were 3 different ways. Is that still valid? And give that little overview.
Right. So the 3 different ways that RVers and cruisers will tend to use online is, first, cellular, and that's using mobile hotspot device, your phone, to use personal mobile hotspot, or doing things on your phone to keep connected. Cellular data is the primary way most of us to keep connected, especially if we're not staying in commercial RV parks or marinas where we might have access to a Wi-Fi connection, which is the second way.
Yeah, and the second way, Wi-Fi, everybody thinks, the campground's going to have free Wi-Fi, and just like the power hookups, you think you usually get decent power when you go to campgrounds nowadays more often, but the Wi-Fi is still never really something you can count on. You might, on occasion, it'll be great, and you can find a good way to get online with Wi-Fi, but because you can't count on it, you usually end up needing to carry around something that makes your own personal Wi-Fi hotspot out of the cellular connection.
And there's multiple ways to do that. That's hotspotting off your smartphone, getting a mobile hotspot device, like a dedicated data device, a jetpack, a Wi-Fi, or you can go more advanced with cellular embedded routers. We play around with it all, using boosters and antennas.
A lot of ways to improve your cell connection.
And all sorts of different gear that you can get to get a better cellular signal.
And then the third primary category is satellite internet, which for a while, actually, back 10, 15 years ago, that was
what Jim used to install.
Yeah, there was a way to get online that long before the cellular networks were around. You can get online anywhere, but you had all this big clunky gear, and there's a lot of downsides to it. Now, cellular's gotten so good that actually most of those old satellite companies have gone out of business, and they're not really that relevant anymore. There's still a few ways to do satellite like that. But there's a whole new generation of low Earth orbit satellites coming in the next few years that can bring satellite back to being a really interesting connection. And
the current satellite options for mobility are very workable for RVers who are going to a location, they can aim an antenna to the satellite and set up. For boaters right now, to do mobile satellite, you need to have a super yacht budget, which most of us consumers don't. I don't, because you need very expensive gear that can aim while in motion, because boats move. Even we're here at a dock right now, basically the equivalent of an RV park, but even so, we'll have a jet ski go by that makes our boat move. And
Just
that,
a little bit of move when you're aiming at a satellite 23,000 miles away, knocks you off.
but that's what's exciting and changing with low Earth orbit satellite Starlink, which is upcoming.
SpaceX's Starlink is a very exciting project.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll let you talk about that in a second. But I just realized I have a question about it on the boat. Does the marina have Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of marinas, just like commercial campgrounds, have Wi-Fi networks.
And when you're anchored out, how far does it go further over water? I guess is my question.
If you have good gear, yes, because there's wireless signals in general and Wi-Fi in particular is very sensitive to objects in between you and what you're talking to, and also to other things nearby talking on the same channels. And so out over open water, there's both no obstructions and there's not usually other conflicting hotspots. So Wi-Fi over open water can go further, but Wi-Fi is still a short-range technology, so it's not like it's going to go miles.
It was never designed to go very far. It was never designed to cover an RV park, right?
No, Wi-Fi is
Exactly.
short-range.
But still, you can anchor off, and you might be able to tap into, if you've got the marina's Wi-Fi password, and you like maybe you are a past customer of theirs, or you're paying a daily access fee to, because a lot of them will like have dinghy access fees where you can use their showers and laundry and things like that. That might also get you access to their Wi-Fi network, or there's like a lot of city and municipal Wi-Fi networks that are open that you might be able to tap into while you're anchored out in the river.
But again, just like camping is sometimes you find good Wi-Fi that you can tap into from a boat, but you can't count on it. So then you end up optimizing for cellular, and because you've got cellular working so well, then you stop even bothering to check and see if the Wi-Fi is any good because you got your cellular working tuned in so nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's our case anyway.
Yes. Yes.
And
But there's a lot of different ways to go about it. There's no one size fits all solution for
No.
RVers or boaters.
okay, then I know what people want to know is about the latest coming up features of satellite with the Starlink. So go ahead.
So Starlink is super exciting, and it's a new take on satellite. Right now, we have geostationary satellite. You've got that satellite that's 20,000 miles plus up in the sky, and you have to super precisely aim to that one. And you've got to have a clear line of sight to the southern hemisphere. And it takes a long time for a signal to go from Earth that far back and back down.
Yeah, so the speed of light becomes a significant factor when you're trying to talk to the internet via a satellite over the equator. So basic surfing and certain things like that, it just kind of feels like you're in molasses. Like you click the button, what does this button do? You click it, there is a half-second delay before you'll see the response. For streaming and stuff like that, it's not a big deal, but for anything interactive, it feels kind of slow and sluggish. And that just impacts everything. So these new low Earth orbit satellite networks have the satellites a lot lower to the ground. But the catch with that is then the satellites are passing overhead. They're not in a fixed point in the sky that you can aim at. They're zooming by over your head, and then they're gone out of range. So to provide continuous coverage, that means you need to have a lot of satellites. The Iridium network was the first to do this. They managed to do coverage with 66 satellites in orbit. But SpaceX is doing a much more advanced network and a much bigger network, and they're starting out with 1,400 satellites to provide global coverage. So they have to launch all these satellites before they can turn it on, because otherwise they'll be like, oh, satellite's gone, and there's no coverage anymore. So they have to always have one passing by overhead over any given point.
Super exciting, and their goal is to put broadband speed internet in places that don't currently have it. So the main focus is rural consumers across the globe. But it's going to be mobile friendly eventually.
Eventually. Have you seen any of the terminals?
So we're seeing a lot of our viewers, especially in forums and groups, saying, hey, I'm going to sign up to Starlink at the end of this year, and that's going to be my primary internet connection. And no, not yet. It's maybe in 2 years it's going to be to that place, but not yet.
Yeah, the initial focus of Starlink is rural homes and fixed places, because the satellites, they are moving the initial Starlink dish. There's a few spy views of what it's going to look like out. Looks like a pizza on an end of a stick, or they call it a UFO on a stick. It's about 18 inches across, and it's this tall, yay tall, but it still has little motors to aim the dish. But then because there's multiple satellites going by and it's to be able to zap between them really quickly, it's actually tracking multiple satellites at once, which is kind of like flat UFO thing. And it's not like satellite TV where the satellite is in one particular place. Because the satellite could be all different spots in the sky, you have to have a clear view. And at first it'll be 25 degrees above the horizon everywhere around you. You can't have a tree. You can't be parked in the shade. You
Or
can't
have an RV next to you, or a
have
building.
Anything big and tall. Have a canyon wall. You've got to have 25 degree above the horizon, 360-degree view to have Starlink work.
And initially, the satellites that are going to be going into operation at the end of this year in their public beta are going to be in the northern part. And so they're basically, Elon has kind of set an expectation of Chicago or more north. So I don't know about you. If I'm going to sign up for Starlink beta this year, I'm not too excited about spending my winter in Chicago or north.
Right. Yes.
I'll stick with cellular this year.
Yes, because it takes so many satellites. They're basically filling in from the north to the south, and they're launching 60 at a time in batches of 60. So they've still got a lot of launches to get up to that 1,400 satellites for the first generation network, and then the second generation network's going to have 30,000 satellites. That's when they really can start to build capacity to handle a lot of people. But it takes a long time to get that many satellites up, even at the pace SpaceX is able to go, and even being able to reuse rockets like they're able to do right now.
But super exciting stuff
Yes.
coming, but that does mean for the next couple of years, as RVers and cruisers need to be keeping it a little more down to earth for a mobile internet connection.
Yeah.
So exciting, keep a watch on it, but don't give up your day job, right? Don't give up your cell.
Don't give up your cell plan.
Don't give up your sweet grandfather did unlimited cell plan. No.
And what does all those satellites in the sky mean for, I don't know, sky environment, atmosphere stuff?
Well, you won't be able to see the sun anymore.
And yeah, just give up on solar power. That's no longer going to be useful. Now, these are super tiny satellites, and space is big.
Yeah, space is gigantic, and all the satellites that have ever been launched would probably fit inside a sports stadium. I mean, it's space is huge. Satellites tend to be relatively small, and they're spread out across the entire planet. So there are legitimate concerns, and that's kind of off topic here about space junk and how you keep junk out of space and how, because you don't want them to hit each other, because then you get a mess.
SpaceX is working with astronomers because the initial batch of satellites went up there. They're too reflective, too shiny. They're disrupting astronomy. So they are working on ways to reduce how much light is being reflected off of them back to Earth, so they're less visible.
Yeah, the new batches that they're actually launching, they launched one test one, and then the ones that they're launching the next batch, maybe next week, all 60 of them have little umbrellas that come out to act as a sunshade, so that the umbrella blocks the sun from shining on the reflective part of the satellite, so it doesn't shine as much back down to Earth and interfere with astronomy. So they're getting kind of really creative with ways to make them darker in the sky.
All right, so don't give up your cell plan. Which one? So what's the latest updates on unlimited data plans?
Cellular this year has been a struggle. So we went through the last couple of years. There were some great unlimited options. Maybe you got on board with the to-go AT&T unlimited plan that they just yanked away very meanly back in January with no grandfathering in. Or maybe you had that sweet Mobley unlimited plan for $20 per month that you can still keep as long as you have it, but you can't get it anymore. Or the sweet unlimited Verizon prepaid jetpack plan for $65 per month that went away last year.
You're teasing people with all these things they can't get anymore.
Yeah, so there right now are not a lot of great options. We did just put out a brand new video. You can find it at mobileinternetinfo.com/plan picks with our current top pick data plans. But some of the best options, I'm just going to kind of highlight some of them. If you're comfortable hotspotting off of your smartphone.
So using your phone to make the Wi-Fi network that other devices connect to.
Visible, which is owned by Verizon, is the current best option. You can get it as low as $25 per month, and it includes unlimited on-device data that you can use on your smartphone, and you can create a personal hotspot off of it, connect one device to it, and get personal hotspot unlimited, but they do reserve the right to cap the speeds to 5 megabit per second, which is fine for most stuff on the internet.
And currently they're not necessarily always enforcing that speed limit or the limit to have just one device in the hotspot. So with a visible plan, you're paying $25 a month. You're able to use your phone to get a lot of things on. So that's probably one of the best deals going right now. And because it's straight from Visible, which is a part of Verizon, it's not likely that Visible is going to suddenly go away.
Right. They've been around for about 2 years.
Yes.
They have some customer service issues, but they're a really great option for that price point. For AT&T, which has now become a primary carrier for our regional
AT&T's
nomads.
performance has been wonderful.
Really
they're
great.
kind of the performance leader now.
But they have in the past had some really great unlimited data plans, and there are currently none directly from the carrier. The best one that you can get as a consumer is 100 gigabytes for $100 per month on their, they call it their wireless internet device, which is a box that's about that big. It's got a Ethernet port in it, so you can use it with a regular router. But that one is a really good deal. The other option with AT&T right now is going with a third-party unlimited reseller. You might have heard about like Nomad Internet, OTR Mobile, travel data,
They're all just
fixed
buying
wireless. There's so many of them out there.
They're buying wholesale data and such from AT&T and reselling it.
Or they're just reselling other plans
behind the scenes. And those, when you have these resellers like this, they sometimes have some really great deals, but because they're so indirect and so many layers removed from the carrier, those plans are subject to disappear sometimes overnight. So know that you're getting a great deal, a great plan, but you can't necessarily count on it to be there always. So have your backup plan ready.
Yep. With T-Mobile, the current best options aren't that great on T-Mobile unless you go with one of those third-party resellers, and there's a lot of them that sell on that network. But if you want a legit unlimited plan, they do have their global unlimited Magenta. It's got a whole bunch of words, but it's about $120 per month. Internationally, it gives you 15 gigabytes of high-speed use when you're traveling all across the world. Not that really any of us can do that right now, but off of their smartphone, you get in the US, you get unlimited high-speed mobile hotspot use off of your smartphone on that plan. So if you want to go direct with T-Mobile and get a legit plan, it's about the best option. But what's interesting right now,
what was that one again?
It's the global 15 gigabyte plus plan. It's an add-on to their Magenta. They do not advertise it very strongly.
And it's in the plan picks guide.
Yeah, it's in the plan picks guide that we mentioned earlier.
But now the other angle is like T-Mobile has now acquired Sprint, and Sprint is going away and being merged completely into T-Mobile. But there are still some pretty great Sprint plans that will be able to take advantage of T-Mobile's network going forward as they become one.
And if you get one of these plans now, before the two brands really merge together, and you can no longer buy these plans as a Sprint plan, we don't know what plans T-Mobile will offer once the merger is really fully complete.
But they've said that Sprint plans direct with Sprint will be grandfathered in. So there's
some great options. If you're a member of the FMCA, there is a $49.99 plan. It is a rental, so
that's Family Motor Coach Association for those non-RVers in our audience.
Yep. And they send you their hotspot device for free. You just have to return it if you decide to discontinue the plan. But it's $50 a month, unlimited high-speed hotspot use, no throttling. If you want to go even cheaper than that, if you go with one of the nonprofits out there that has an old terms of plan, Calyx Institute offers one. You can get it as cheap as about $40 per month. You do pay up front.
You basically pay either quarterly or yearly in advance, but you can get an unlimited, unthrottled Sprint hotspot. And the Sprint hotspots will be able to take more and more advantage of T-Mobile's network as they turn them out.
And then, Sprint directly offers a 100 gigabyte hotspot plan, which you can, go buy a mobile hotspot device. And it's 100 gigabytes for $60 per month. So if you want to go with something that is Sprint branded, that will get grandfathered in, there's some great options on Sprint right now that could be worthwhile grandfathering in now.
Now, people who are watching this and who are really interested, I see smoke coming out of their ears now. So could I ask you to take a minute and go to your website and show where this plan picks, so people can see how they can find your information?
Share screen down there.
Because I know there is a ton of stuff. And I know that's where I go. Anytime we have to make a change, I say, well, we got to go to their website.
Okay, so this is our website, the mobileinternetinfo.com. And if you just scroll right down the page, we have our featured videos, and we have this best cellular data plans video. Goes over all of the current topics. We put out a new video about every 3 months on that. And then if you go to our featured guides, you're going to find a ton of free content there. From how to pick hotspots and phones and routers. This guide to the best cellular data plans is the guide that I referenced before, which you can find at mobileinternetinfo.com/plan picks. And
you even keep that updated, which I don't know how you do it.
We pretty much, like last time it's been 12 days, so I'm sure there's a plan change about to come up. But yeah, the video is always there, and then you can actually search. So we have all the plans that I'm talking about. You can search by carrier. You can also search by the type of device that you can use it on. You want smartphone? Do you want to use a mobile hotspot device? Do you want something that's 5G compatible? Do you want to use it in a router, which is other thing? So
more advanced way to
you just click Verizon, and it'll update with just the Verizon-based options. So
there's a lot of options, and there's a lot of device combinations. So it is enough to make your head spin a little bit, but you can, they can be simple, and you just dive in as deep as you need to go to meet your own needs.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, your website is amazing with all the information that you
and we do track. We have put a definition that a plan has to provide at least 10 gigabytes of high-speed mobile hotspot use for us to consider it mobile internet, and not just a smartphone plan. And we are the mobile internet resource center, not the smartphone. Yeah. You guys are the buttons. We're the we're the mobile internet. So, but we do in our gear center, which you'll find on the website, we track every single plan out there that meets that criteria.
For example, then, do you cover Google Fi, or does that not?
Absolutely.
You do.
Yeah,
okay.
Because Google Fi is such a flexible plan for people who just need a little bit of data, but then sometimes need a lot. It's not necessarily the greatest plan if you need a whole lot of data, though, but the flexibility of Google Fi is great, so we definitely cover that.
Okay. Yeah. And what it's especially good for is for overseas.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I used it when we were in New Zealand, Australia, and in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's such a super flexible option. Just be aware for those that are doing extended overseas travel, they used to not enforce their primary U.S. use terms, and they have been. So they are starting to discontinue international support if you are using it for more. I think the current threshold is 5 months at a time. So if you're using it for like your primary international only use and not actually returning to the U.S. and using your plan, they are cracking down. They are cracking down on that.
But if you're going to be using it for that long, I think over there, you're probably going to get a SIM card for something over
right.
there.
But in our community of cruisers who move around a lot of countries on their boat,
they move very slowly.
And it takes 2 or 3 months to get back to the U.S. It's become a real issue in the cruising community.
Because Fi had been very popular, and now they're all getting canceled because they don't come back to the U.S. very frequently. And there were actually quite a few Canadians who were because they could get Google Fi was better than plans they can get in Canada, so they were just getting the Google Fi and staying up in Canada, and Google's kind of cracked down on that. So
we just haven't gotten any questions yet. You guys, you can write some questions in the chat if you want, but Michael Daniels just has had to mention that he loves Google Fi.
Yeah,
I think Michael Daniels loves everything Google.
Anything Google.
If you need a lot of data on Google Fi, it gets expensive really quick.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's why I say, well, why, because Jim has Google Fi on his Google phone, his Pixel phone, and it's great. We like it, and especially international. So I thought, well, how come I don't get Google Fi? I said, oh, yeah, because we need more data than that, and just being on Google.
And they have an unlimited plan that's now, I think it's $65 or $75 per month. But that one actually throttles you down to slow speeds after 22 gigabytes of usage. Now, 22 gigabytes of usage to a full-timer is not unlimited.
Yeah. What is your basic monthly gigabyte usage? Do you even know?
Probably 300-400 gigabytes a month.
It depends. So you notice we have a cat back here. Here, there you go. Other way, Chris. Other way. There. You go. See
Kiki.
The cat laying behind it. She loves on YouTube. I don't know if you've gone and searched. There are actual videos, 4K streaming bird videos to entertain cats. And if she finds one of those, then we can use a
Yeah,
lot more
we,
data.
we, we let her we let her watch YouTube as much as she wants. And sometimes she just binges for hours, and so yeah, that burns a lot of data.
But generally, just to make sure our audience heard this, you said 300 to 400 gigabytes.
Right. So, but we're doing a lot of video work like you guys are. So we're producing videos, we're doing live casts, we stream a lot of Netflix and Hulu as our entertainment in the evening. But for someone who is working remotely, needs to do a few hours of Zoom calls a week, needs to be able to do research and stuff like that, it is not unheard of for a full-time household, even with just one or two individuals, to need 100 to 200 gigabytes a month. You're managing backups, cloud syncing, OS updates, all this sorts of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so don't believe Verizon when the salesperson tells you 10 gigabytes is plenty.
Yeah, right?
It is if you have a cable network.
Yeah, if you have a home that you return to.
So like you guys, you just went down to Tavernier for 3 days. You have
Right.
a home cable network right there in your house in Fort Lauderdale, but you did a 3-day trip and you were working off of your 15 gigabyte hotspot plan. That was enough for the weekend. But you're not gonna do a
Absolutely.
live
In
cast
fact, I
off of
looked it
that.
up. It looked like we used 8 gigabytes
Okay.
of our hotspot plan. Yeah.
Yep.
But you probably were maybe having fun more so than working.
True. Yeah, we didn't. Well, we had one meeting. We had one Zoom
Right.
meeting while we were there. But,
So that's what those consumer unlimited plans are designed for, is for someone who just needs it occasionally when they're away from home to get online. So
okay, I do see one question here along these lines. What are the best options for streaming programming with screen saving to TV?
So I'm thinking what they're talking about. We didn't bring it up
Screen
here. Yeah, so a lot of plans have unlimited streaming on your phone, so you can watch as much Netflix as you want or anything else, and it's not using your data
on your phone.
on your phone. But if you still want it on the big screen, you can actually use a way to get video out from your phone. So a lot of phones support HDMI out. Apple has their own adapter. A lot of Android phones, not all of them, but a lot of them have adapters that you can get that'll give you HDMI out. And then you just plug the HDMI out cable into your TV, and you're still technically using on-device data, not hotspot data. So you can watch unlimited TV on your big screen.
And that is the best way if you've got an unlimited hotspot phone and you don't have an unlimited jetpack plan or
Yes.
data plan. That is the best way right now to utilize those unlimited plans and really get that unlimited data out of them, because there's no restrictions on that.
Yeah, and you have to watch out if you use Apple's AirPlay or Google's Chromecast. You think you're doing it on your phone, but what you're actually doing is basically telling your Apple TV or your Chromecast to go do the download. So it's using its data, in which case suddenly you're using your hotspot data. So you can't necessarily use the wireless casting. There's some things like Mirrorcast and other things that will not use your phone, that will let you still use your on-device data, but it gets complicated. So we've got a guide.
Yep, I'm going to bring that up.
Yeah, we'll show you where this is. The mobileinternetinfo.com/TV that goes into kind of all the tips and tricks for how to get the big screen experience and maximize your mobile data.
So this guide goes into how much data you need to stream. And if you go down to streaming to the big screen, if you just click there, we've got a whole section on these hardwired HDMI out adapters. And here you can see an example of what one looks. This is the Apple one. And then there's all sorts we've got listed all the different ways that Android phones also work with that. And so you can find this at mobileinternetinfo.com/TV.
Yeah, that's a great. I've read all through that and said, oh yeah, okay. But Ron Brown asks, why not Chromecast? And that's because it's using the hotspot data,
Chrome,
right?
It for most people, like on their home internet, Apple TV and Chromecast, they work by basically your phone is acting as a remote control, and you're telling the Chromecast to go do the download. So your phone's not doing the download of the streaming; it's the Chromecast doing it, which means suddenly you're using whatever data the Chromecast device is connected to, which is probably a hotspot or something like that. So you're no longer using your on-phone unlimited plan. So a lot of people get bit by that. They think, oh, I had it on my phone and I I casted it up to the TV and I used up my entire data plan.
Maybe
Oops. It's like,
maybe they were logged into their Chromecast is connected maybe to their hotspot device, which has a capped data on it.
Right.
And then suddenly they're like, oh, whoops, I just burned through all my data for the month.
So the one way to always be sure is to use a physical cable where you're watching it on your screen and you're using a second screen out through the cable onto the big screen. That way you're not accidentally using hotspot data.
Yeah, it's basically just giving you a bigger screen for your phone.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Last topic, 5G.
5G.
First, what's it going to be like? You know, what are the advantages it's going to give us? And second, should I wait to buy a new phone until I can get a 5G phone?
So 5G is fifth generation cellular, and it is basically just like 4G again. So 4G has been the last decade of cellular evolution, and when 4G started, it was just like really good 3G, but it has evolved over the next 10 years, over the past 10 years to be something light years beyond 3G. And so 5G starting out is kind of starting at the base of really good 4G. So a lot of the first generation 5G stuff, you're not going to see a huge difference
unless you're in a millimeter wave area.
Unless certain areas, you'll be able to take advantage of that.
So 5G is being rolled out by each of the carriers very differently.
Mm-hmm.
T-Mobile has started their rollout over their 600 megahertz spectrum, which is their very, very long range spectrum. So you're going to be able to reach that. You can get 5G now on
Almost
T-Mobile. Everywhere they have coverage. Even out in the more rural areas where they have coverage. But Verizon, on the other hand, started with their very, very short range millimeter wave, is what you'll hear it called, or ultra wideband is what they're also
Verizon
calling it. They're all naming it all different. And that's only useful if you're within, a few hundred feet of a
special 5G towers that they're putting on street corners in cities. So they're basically, Verizon's 5G coverage map is just a few blocks of 35 cities, whereas T-Mobile's 5G coverage map covers most of the country right now.
But the big difference between the two is on the millimeter wave, the very short range. Well, the shorter the wavelength of the signal, the faster the signal can be. So that's where you're getting those gigabit per second speeds.
Yeah, 2 gigabit speeds even.
T-Mobile's long-range one, where you can't deliver that sort of speed over distance, that is going to be more like really great 4G.
Yeah,
so it's a new technology. It's a new basis for it that's going to give a lot more spectrum so that more data can be served.
And so 5G will be building all over the next decade, and just like, 4G will slowly become less and less relevant. So you don't necessarily need to run out or wait for 5G in any particular fashion, but your next, the next time you're shopping for a phone, it'll be relevant, or mobile hotspot. By this time next year, 5G devices, that'll just be what they're offering. The new iPhones coming out this year, they'll start being 5G. The top end Samsungs and LGs right now are 5G. And by this time next year, the middle end devices will also be 5G as well. So you'll get more and more options, and they'll just kind of naturally happen. And in the meantime, the networks will be getting better and better as well. So the 5G will go from being a really good 4G to suddenly, wow, now I'm getting twice the speed I was able to get on 4G a year ago and stuff, because the 5G network is getting evolved and able to take advantage of that more. So,
but it's going to be different for someone who lives stationary and might be in an area within a good 5G area versus someone who's mobile like us, who moves around the country and depends on mobile internet. Phones are already out for 5G, but what's not out yet is a really great 5G mobile hotspot device. They're going to be coming out. This Netgear Nighthawk on AT&T. This is the LTE version. There's a version of this coming out for 5G by the end of this year, but it's not out yet.
Yeah.
Even though AT&T is kind of middle ground on how they're rolling out their 5G spectrum. But what's not out yet is antennas to use for 5G, or boosters to use with 5G. Or cellular embedded routers. So it's still going to be a couple more years before a mobile internet setup for those of us in RVs and boats that are mostly traveling that way are going to be able to standardize on 5G.
Mm-hmm.
So look forward to it, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, basically about the time Starlink's ready is when 5G will be ready for us all to consider what our new arsenal setup would be.
And we have just actually published some really good new 5G guides too. So we've got a lot
Right.
of great 5G
Yes,
stuff
actually.
explaining what's coming, when, what the technology, how it works behind the scenes. So yes, there's.
There, I'm gonna bring up our
give you a
5G
quick
resource center.
share of
Mobile
that.
internet.
Info.com/5G.
Share.
No, /5G.
Oh.
Very good.
We have set up this page, which is mobileinternetinfo.com/5G, with all of our 5G resources on it. We have a full guide to the fundamentals of 5G if you want to go dive deep into all this millimeter wave and sub-6. And then all of our guides, we've been updating all of our cellular guides on all of these different topics, and they've all been updated with 5G content. So how to pick smartphones for it, and hotspots and routers.
How to compare the specs, what the frequencies
Mhm.
mean, and you can see how all the carriers, all the news from the carriers as they're bringing out
Right.
their 5G networks.
So at the bottom, we have all of our news articles about 5G that we have been publishing, and you're about to put out a new one this week.
Yep, we've got a really big new article about
Right.
5G coming out this week, so there'll be a lot of more stuff.
And then
Wow.
our YouTube channel is Mobile Internet Resource Center. That's our work site. So if you're a video-oriented person, you can just go subscribe to that, and you'll get the updates there as well.
And there's links to that on the website,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, actually, here, I'll put a comment, in the thing.
Sure.
This
You
is
can-
our channel,
Yeah.
Mobile
Yes.
Internet Resource
Yeah,
Center.
so you just click over to
That's a
us.
good one.
The website is in the description, Michael. Michael asked, the website is in the description, mobileinternetinfo.com.
And you also see it as RB Mobile Internet, which is where we started. When we got a boat, we decided to branch
broaden
out.
out. But
Yeah.
a boat and RVs, as far as internet goes, are very similar. Few differences, but otherwise very similar.
Unless you're going to be crossing.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're out away from shore, there's no cell towers usually.
Then there's more. Although I remember being so surprised. We went on a dive trip in the Bahamas, and we were going to be on a boat the whole time, a sailboat. And we told people we would be non-communicado for a week. It wasn't true. There were cell towers on every island, and we had cell service, no problem.
The Bahamas have gotten really great, and there was a company, I don't know if they survived COVID or not, Island Wi-Fi, I think was what they were
Yeah.
called. They're actually offering an unlimited data plan
In
for
the
like
Bahamas.
$75 a month. You rented a hotspot device, and you could just go around and get high-speed unlimited Bahamian connectivity for your
Nice.
moving over there.
Yeah.
It was a great option.
And again, cellular goes further over water than it does through land and trees and stuff, less obstruction. So these islands that have built nice towers, you can get 10, 15, maybe even all the way up to 20 miles off away from the island.
Yeah, it's
They'll
pretty
be
cool.
connected.
Well, this was great. You make me want to go traveling.
Now make
And
make
pull
it
your hair out
possible
trying to
for
get a good
us to go
signal again.
traveling. Crazy.
So is there
It is
anything?
totally possible to stay as connected as you want to be while you're traveling. And top of having a lot of us who rely on mobile internet, we choose multiple options. There is no single best one. It's not like we can't just depend on just like getting a plan with Verizon. We have plans on multiple carriers.
All basically.
Yes, we do. We have them on all four. And then we also have antennas, and we have boosters, and we keep up to date with our modems. But the other key component to keeping connected is a little bit of research in advance. So before heading out somewhere, check campground reviews, check coverage. We actually have an app called Coverage where you can check your carrier's coverage maps before you head out to a campground.
And we just added Canada to coverage.
So, do a little bit of research in advance so that a lot of us are relying on internet or want to know what the internet's going to be like. Even the Wi-Fi at a campground. People are leaving comments like that in campground reviews. If you go to like Campendium or RV campsites or, any of these other campground review sites that are out there, look in the reviews. People are leaving comments about this stuff.
Well, thank you so much, and stick around.
Yeah, we
People-
will be having a backstage pass after this YouTube show. It's another Zoom meeting, and you can find the link to that in an email that Chris sent out to our premium members. It's also on our website for premium members. If you go to geeksontour.com and go to the member
The member login.
Member login,
You'll
and
find
it's
the
just
link
right down on there.
under there.
All right.
So I don't have any review questions this week because I didn't know the answers. So we are done. We will see you all next week when we do an overview of the newly redesigned Google Photos.
And everybody should be getting their own app in their phones this week.
Yeah.
If it hasn't happened already. So it'll be a very timely thing. So look forward to that.
And thanks again to our friends Chris Dunphy and Cherie Viard, and make sure to visit their website at mobileinternetinfo.com.
That's it for this
Thanks,
week.
guys, for
We'll
coming
see you
along.
again.
Always good to see your faces.
Good to see you, and we're going to come up and visit one of these days.
Awesome.
Be careful
Van
out
party.
there.
Oh, we
Wash
can
your
get our
hands.
vans together.
We
can
could
go.
meet halfway.
Yeah.
Fan party.
We could do that.
Oh,
All right.
I like it.
We'll do
Nice.
that.
I like it.
All right, guys.
Okay. We'll
take care.
see you backstage.
All right.
We'll see you backstage.
Yeah, you have a different
In the green
link
room.
for that.
And we'll see you there. Thanks so much, and thank you all for watching. Be good. Be safe. Wash
Keep
your
pushing
hands,
those buttons.
and keep pushing those buttons because something will happen. Bye-bye.